Hello, it's Lynn Watts here with Wyatt the Wonder Dog Books. And today I want to talk about creating lessons for students about recognizing emotions and dealing with emotions. Today we call this emotional regulation. I think that's a relatively new term, but not a new concept. So, as a school counselor, every year I taught a lesson on feelings or emotions. And this can be a very fun lesson. So I usually started it out with huge cutouts that I had of kids showing various emotions: anger, sad, happy, all these different kinds of emotions. And I would hold them up and have students guess what emotion that cutout was demonstrating. And then we would talk about how they knew that, so that even though this is just a cutout, not a real person, we can still tell how people are feeling. So we talked about body language, and then we could easily move from that to talking about how we express emotions. So it's definitely an easy lesson to teach, one that I think kids can get into, but certainly something that not every student has an opportunity at some other point in their life to understand emotions and how they work. Many of us, even as adults, often feel that emotions just appear out of nowhere, and that we have no control over them. And so that, of course, is part of the key to this message. So throughout the message, a few of the things that you want to share with students is, first of all, that obviously there are positive emotions and there are negative emotions. In other words, emotions that we enjoy feeling, like happiness, excitement, all those kinds of emotions. And there are other emotions that we don't really like feeling very much, such as anger, sad, grief, feeling frightened, things like that. But then the important point is that all of these emotions are actually normal and okay, and that all of them mean something to us. So, of course, feeling happy helps us recognize what we like and love, and what we enjoy. On the other hand, feeling angry or feeling frightened or feeling sad are also very useful emotions. And you can talk about each one of them if you like, and what you can learn from those emotions, or what the purpose of that is. That it's normal to feel sad if you lose someone or something that is important to you, or a friend moves away, you're sad that you have lost part of that relationship. That is normal, and in a way it kind of lets you know how important that relationship is to you. So even negative emotions have something they can teach us. The other important thing, of course, is helping kids recognize body language, and not just for themselves, so they know how they are feeling, but also to recognize how other people are feeling. So it's a good social awareness tool, and you want to teach kids how to do that and why that's important. That if you have a friend who's very sad, that it's helpful to recognize that and to ask them what's wrong, as opposed to ignoring it, or thinking that you've done something wrong, maybe, or trying to cheer them up when, it's very appropriate for them to be sad. So all of those kinds of things you want to teach about body language. And then I think the final thing that we want to do is help students recognize how to own their own feelings and how to appropriately express them. And that, of course, is the key part of the lesson. So, how do you do that? The first one is helping kids to recognize what feelings are and to give them labels, because we know that when someone is able to label an emotion, then the next step can be to manage that emotion in an appropriate way. So labeling them is the first step. The second step is taking that responsibility for the emotions. So recognizing that emotions don't just appear from nowhere. It is natural to have emotions, but they're also connected to other things, such as our thinking and how we think and how we perceive things. So recognizing that we have some control over emotions in that sense is very important. And then the final thing is recognizing that they are in charge, not only of their emotions, but they're also in charge of their behavior. And so, first step of recognizing a feeling, recognizing that it's okay and there is a reason for it, and then figuring out what is the appropriate behavior for this feeling, is all part of taking responsibility and regulating our feelings. So if someone is feeling angry or frustrated, label the feeling, recognizing that it's appropriate. Maybe there's a reason for being angry. And then the second thing, what is an appropriate way to express that? So hitting someone is not an appropriate way to express that, but talking to them about the problem probably is. So that would be a lesson on emotions or feelings, teaching the important concepts of that. Obviously, this might be a lesson that goes on over a period of time. That's a lot to pack into a simple, let's say, 30-minute lesson. But you can certainly divide it up into different pieces. And you can do it in a lot of different ways. It might be something that you teach a whole class. You might actually teach it in a small group if you have a group on emotional regulation, and spread that over a series of different times that you meet. And you might also teach it individually if you have a student who especially needs that kind of help. So I hope you find that helpful as you work with students. Thank you, as always, for all you do to change the lives of young students. And thanks, as always, for listening.